Hey, friend, this is the corner of the internet where I talk all day long about sales and marketing for online teachers. Today, I am talking about how to eliminate no shows. So, specifically, these are no shows for calls with people who haven't paid you yet. So, they are applying to work with you, and you are getting on a free call with them to make sure that your private tutoring is a perfect fit for them before you take their money, because your one-on-one spots are super limited and you want to make sure that you are connecting with the best possible families for you and your teaching methods. So we want to make sure everything is aligned with this family before moving forward. These are the kind of calls I'm talking about. So because they haven't paid yet, they're not super bought in to showing up. And sometimes people will simply not show up for the call. So if this is happening in your business, it's going to have dramatic costs, which I will get into in a minute. But the thing that a lot of teachers are doing is they're sending reminders. So I've seen people spend hours and days and weeks trying to set up email notifications that will send automatic reminders before the call. If you have that, that's great. Use it, but it's actually not as powerful as what I'm about to show you. So, automatic reminders are great. Manual reminders are great. You should be doing both, actually, even if you have automatic reminders on. Do a manual reminder and get an actual response. And yeah, I mean, you could send 10,000 automatic reminders, every half an hour your call is coming up. It would drive people crazy and it wouldn't increase your call rate. So like more reminders are not the answer here. Yes, you need to remind people, but the like effectiveness of that is going to peter out at some point, like 50 reminders is not better than 5. So how do we actually get people to show up? So the tool that we're going to be using to increase our show rate is a pre-call application. And there are so many amazing reasons why you should be doing this. First, let's dig into like the actual cost of what it means when somebody doesn't show up for your call. So obviously, they've wasted your hour, or you're going to spend that hour doing something that wasn't in the plan. You should have kind of a backup activity. I record content if I happen to get on a call with somebody who doesn't show up. I still have something that I'm doing in my business, but yeah, it sucks. It's like, this isn't what I scheduled. So the lost hour is obvious, but then there's like all of the time that it took to like nurture that lead enough to get them interested in booking a call with you. So you've probably spent quite a bit of time with them already. So that's more wasted time. The income that you could have made had they bought into your program. And then I think like one of the biggest costs that people don't really think about is your business momentum. So when you are like spending an hour or 45 minutes of your day to connect with a family to make sure that you can actually offer them a service that will help them, and they don't even bother to like show up or message you back, like it's pretty devastating. So it definitely has an impact on your state of mind and the momentum and the energy that you're showing up with in your business. So for that reason alone, it is really important to vet people in terms of how interested are they really, and how much do they actually value my services and my time. So the application helps with that in 3 different ways. So by giving them a pre-call application, you are going to increase their buy-in before they ever get to the call. So the first way that you increase their buy-in is they have a little bit of investment in the call because they know that they have to fill out this application in order to get to the call. So if they don't invest enough interest in just the application, you can be pretty sure that they're not invested enough to show up to the call. If they don't take 5 minutes out of their day to answer the application questions, it should be a great big red flag that they're not very serious about working with you and they're probably not going to buy your services. So just getting them to take some ownership of it, fill out the application, tell me what it is you need, express yourself in terms of what's the problem that we're trying to solve here? Why are you coming to me for help for my services? What's going on? If they cannot explain that to you quickly in an application form, we're not asking them to write an essay, but there are a few key questions that you really should know before you get on the call with somebody. So we want them to take 5 minutes out of their day and get a little skin in the game. If they've spent some time working on this, they're going to be much, much more inclined to show up on the call to see what comes of this application that they filled out. So they are invested in terms of effort right there. And then your application questions should give them clarity. So a lot of people come to an expert basically saying this isn't working. I need help. I don't know what I don't know. If I knew how to fix it, I'd fix it. I don't know. Help me. So when you get them to fill out your questions, it's going to provide clarity. As long as you ask quality questions, that alone will show them that you know what you're doing. And it will give them clarity too, because they have to kind of summarize their situation. They have to make everything that they need fit on this application form. So they're really kind of editing out the additional details. If you don't do this, people are going to blah, blah, blah at you on the call. So you want to get them to think about this stuff beforehand so that they're not mentally working it out as they're talking to you. It'll make your call a lot more efficient because you're already going to have clarity about them. And based on the questions that you ask, they're going to have more clarity about your services too, because those questions are all going to point to things that you can help them solve. So you're looking to find a gap where they need help and you can help. That's where you're going to kind of fit together in terms of yes, my service is the right thing for your child. But before you know that, you need clarity about their situation and they need clarity about how it is that you help and what you do exactly. So the application is going to give clarity both ways. And just because humans are humans, the fact that you have an application increases your perceived value. And this comes back to the investment piece. If they're not investing time in the application, they don't value what you do. And I lost my words. The perceived value can be what is the little ADHD word forgetting moment here. You can put extra momentum behind the perceived value by canceling calls where you have not received the application. So there's no way around it. It's not like a nice thing that you offer if people feel like filling it out. This is how you build authority before getting on a call with somebody. So I know if they didn't fill out the application, didn't invest 5 minutes of their day when I'm about to give them an hour of my time, I'm going to send a message and say, hey, if I don't have this application by this deadline, I'm going to have to reschedule our call. This is huge for perceived value, right? I'm not selling out of desperation. I do not need another student. I am here to support your family, but only if you actually want support. And you didn't seem that interested because you didn't fill out the application. So I'm not going to waste my time begging you to join my class. Like, that's not where I'm coming from here. So simply backing off if you don't have the answers that you need to get on the call is another huge way to increase your perceived value with somebody. So they can see the value because of the clarity, and because you have insisted that they also are invested in solving the problem. That's what the value is for, right? They have a problem and they need something that will solve it. And if that solves the problem, it's valuable to them. So that is how you increase your perceived value, but also like give maximum value to people. Like, you want them to get on call with clarity because it's going to make your call move along so much faster. If they know exactly what they need help with and you can say, yeah, this is how we do it, and here's somebody else who's done it, it's going to sink in so quickly because they've already spent the last 24 hours kind of mulling over their application responses. Like, they thought about it before speaking with you directly. Same kind of thing you would see like at a doctor's office. Like, the first thing you do when you walk into the doctor is you fill out, what are you here for today? And then eventually that information gets to the doctor. Perceived value, right? The doctor could ask, what are you here for today? As the first question when you walk in. And they kind of do, like, they just look at the form and they say, oh, I hear you're here for this today. But that barrier stops the patient from rambling because they already told the doctor on the form what they're here for today. And the doctor has that quick little summary, and they don't have to go into that really open-ended question where the patient might like name 16 things. No clarity there, right? So we want to get your parent or parents, whoever, caregivers, whoever you're talking to, get them to give you clarity in quick little snippets. So if you are thinking like, yes, this all sounds great, I want people to be invested, I want them to have clarity, I want them to see the value that I offer, amazing. Do I just send them a questionnaire that says, what's your favorite color? Like, no, obviously not. Your questions need to be pointed, direct questions, and you don't want to include a lot of extra stuff in there because that will muddle your clarity. So if you need help figuring out exactly what questions to ask for your business, that is something that I offer coaching on. Reach me on Instagram if you want a custom application built out specifically for your teaching business. Bye.